Welcome back to the Emergency Powered Podcast. You've made it through another week. Sit on down and power up with us.
Woo! All right.
Yeehaw.
I'm ready.
Is this the one where things get weird?
They weren't getting weird already?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I can only guarantee weirder, though. So every time you ask that question, the answer is going to be yes.
That's good. I want to see it escalate.
So last time, I dropped a bunch of stuff on you guys. Like the semi-priest of the Triple Church, as it were.
Triple Church.
You guys had quite a conversation, especially 5e. So I've been a little curious over this last week or so. What you guys think is going on here now that you've actually gotten a little information?
I'm solidly in alternate reality camp. I think whatever happened to us in transit on that ship shunted us into another timeline, because either everyone here is insane and subject to a massive, propaganda disinformation campaign.
It was the swamp gases.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not outside the realm of possibility. It's possible that somebody is lying to everyone on this planet, but it seems more likely that we're somewhere somewhen that we definitely should not be.
Yeah, I'm in the same kind of boat. I think it's like that episode of Deep Space Nine, or series of episodes where they had the Negaverse thing going on, where they got pulled through the transporter and there was the evil O'Brien and all the evil versions. I think it's something like that. My theory, because here's what we know from my notes: the timeline, something about 82 years ago was when they lost drift travel. Our timeline, we don't remember that. That never happened. We still had drift travel. We detected a beacon. Kat analyzed our ship, and we detected a drift beacon that wasn't on record in our databanks. So what I think happened is this beacon was actually in this dimension or this timeline. Someone got it working, and it sucked us in because we weren't expecting it to be there, and it threw off our coordinates or whatever. So that is my theory.
I'm definitely going to go with the whole world either was under some sort of, I don't know, like a war, or perhaps blew itself up from within, and the history that was then taught, I guess, changed throughout the times. I don't know as much about the kind of the star, I want to say Starship. That is not the right thing that we're playing, though. Starfinder universe.
Starship Finder.
Yeah, throughout a lot of that conversation, I was thinking, this guy's crazy. Some lies are getting fed to him, and maybe this whole world is under this illusion that, the drift doesn't work anymore, even though it does. However, I am remembering the kind of description that we had as we got pulled, I think it was either into the drift. You said something about, it's like we went through a wormhole or something like that. So that might lend more towards Jeff and Richard's theory there. But I'm still going to be under the camp of something's up with this world as whole. And
so you think they've been told some misinformation, and that maybe drift travel isn't as impossible as they think?
Perhaps. Maybe it's impossible for them right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm going a little bit. I do think that they lost drift travel. I think it was more complete than just this world. But I don't think they actually lost the capability. They just lost the knowledge to do it. I think that if we had our ship and we had a drift engine that was running, I think we could still do it. I think that this world has lost the knowledge to do it.
Oh, then we definitely got to get our ship back.
That's my thinking.
Would also kind of like to know why there's like random groups of thugs that want to take me alive.
Yeah.
That's a little
From another
weird.
dimension, nonetheless, no less. Like,
Voyeuristic intentions.
so they know who you are, even though we're from another dimension.
That or
Do
they
they-
want his technology or something.
Is it do they know
Yeah.
who I am, or do they just know what I am? Because I mean, I could see it being, I could see there being some value in having your own, you know.
Yeah, they didn't call you
High-tech.
by name, I don't think. They just
no.
they just
said take
pointed at
that
you.
one alive.
Maybe they're like
Yeah.
a cult of robot worshippers or something.
At least they recognized your sentience.
knows?
They said to take you alive.
So those are some interesting theories. I like to see where your guys' heads are at.
Adam, if it turns out that one of us is right, is there a prize? Do we get a popsicle?
There could
maybe?
be. There
A
could be.
frozen
We'll
space
see.
treat?
A delicious frozen space treat.
Yeah. Man, what are we going to do with all the popsicles that Adam gives us when Adam's not here to play with us and require us to need to use popsicles?
I'm gonna spend them all on my drug addiction habit. Apparently,
Got 2 more saves?
no, I'm done.
Oh, you're done? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, 'cause we were at the
resolved
first
it
one.
last
Spent a
time.
little time.
That's right. Oh my gosh,
Spent
it's
the
going to be so much
popsicle to
better.
do it, but I'm all better.
It's worth
Star,
You
it.
are
Starfinder
all better.
rehabs.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Now the game begins. Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
much easier process in this game than it is in real life.
Absolutely. Yeah, a couple good nights sleep. Good to go.
And then lastly, right, we were thinking about tracking down the vehicle that passed by this church.
We wanted to go to this other gang, the Goragatal,
Mm-hmm.
which we discovered translates from Vesk to from many one.
Interesting. Okay, and I think thumbs up most of our ideas right now.
Yeah, I think that about brings us up to it. So why don't we go ahead and get started?
Yes.
Why don't we?
Wah. All right, so huddle close around the data pad. Pull up a blanket, close your eyes, journey with us as we open the Tomes of Emergency Power, Volume 1, Chapter 6. Under the domed city, there is no day, there is no night. There is only the endless darkness that envelops the rest within its domain. Only scarce spots of light resist its complete control. Lights flood through stained glass windows of a small building amidst towering giants. Here, within the sturdy stone walls of the upgraded Church of Triune, we find Scriff, Pawns, 5e. Scriff, the rodent-esque Hisoki, stretches his arms wide and lets out a large yawn, his body finally free from aches and chills after several bitter days of horrible sickness.
That's much better. I think that the last of that food it finally came up.
He gives a wan smile to the semi-saint of the church who has been checking up on him periodically. Scriff indicates how much better he's feeling to the religious man, who nods his head and heads off to add fuel to the campfire that's keeping the building lit and warm. This is the first time since the crash that Scriff has actually felt ready to handle whatever comes next. Hans, on the other hand, is not so lucky. It had taken 2 days
What?
for Scriff to overcome the repercussions of drug addiction, which had given Pawns plenty of time to ruminate on what had happened so far, to think of his home and the responsibilities he had there, which now feel so far out of reach. It was on the second night that it happened. While his mind was reaching out in a lucid dream to the planet of Akaton. Something unexplainable. As his mind drifted to the contemplative city of Fee, where he had been made and educated, to his past, to Naren's. Feeling the mind of his mentor and creator sent a powerful wave of sadness through Pons. Naren's was reaching the end of his lifespan. His thoughts were beginning to slow as his mind deteriorated. Their conversations were no longer about building the vast and intricate knowledge Pons would need to continue Neris's research. It was replaced by the repetition of thoughts and comments mere moments apart. Pons is and has been fully aware of the closing life of his creator, but accepting it is another matter. Naren's had always taught Pons that emotion and experience were intertwined with logic and knowledge, that the path to improvement and invention lay in the balance. The genius that was retained by Naren's was unmatched on Akaton. His breadth of knowledge stretched as wide as the ocean. What balance was there in his loss? Where could improvement be found in death?
There has to be some way to stem the tide of mental decay. Somewhere out there has to be a way.
Floating up to the fluid-filled chamber that now contained and sustained the contemplative known as Neris, Pon reaches out with his mind.
Arians, I'm gonna go into the city to find one who might hold the knowledge and expertise to improve your failing condition. If I can't find the information in Bay, I'll have to consider expanding my research beyond this city. Perhaps beyond this planet. We can discuss it when I return.
As you will, my young clone. Just remember that you exist to carry on when I cannot, to take what knowledge I have learned and take it further than I can alone. For the good of our race, and every race. Don't use all your time to help an old contemplative feel the spark of youth again. Sending a warm, telepathic feeling akin to a mental smile, Pons turns to leave.
Whoa. Clone? What?
Yeah, that.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I've been wondering for a while what's going on with that whole I've got pieces of other people's memories in me.
Oh, that's right, because he mentioned that. I think that was more of an out of character.
It was, but I picked up
Yeah.
on it and I was like, "What's going on with that? Did you upload someone else's neural network into your own?" And yeah, you did.
That's a very 5e way to look at things.
We'll get the furthest with both of us working together. If there's answers out there, I'm sure we'll find them.
As you will, my young clone. What was I doing? Neris trails off into confusion as the sadness swells in Pons once more.
Hello? Oh, no.
As he departs the room. Pons remembers feeling the sadness as if it was happening right now. As if an observer to his own life, he watches himself leave the room. Watching Naren's float quietly in his chamber. Pons waits for whatever comes next in this painful memory. How he went into the city and searched for help for days at a time with no avail. To see himself finally come to the decision that he would have to leave this planet and Naren's in search of answers. For a long time he waits. Minutes, hours. But the scene never changes. Finally, Naren stirs, casting his mind around. Pawns. How are your studies going? You had just reached, was it contact with the swarm? No, the 16 subsexes of the Farron beetle? Wait. Pawns, why do your neural pathways in your mind feel so different? What happened?
Oh gosh. And this is some time after I'm getting contacted again, correct?
This is something that you experienced while Scriff was trying to recover, so
Yeah.
this is recent.
Okay.
You're being reached by alternate dimension
Yeah.
Narens.
So yeah, Pons is a little bit puzzled for a second, wondering how is it that he could, well, one have changed so rapidly, and then kind of ponders to himself for a second. And well, we crash landed somewhere, and I don't know, maybe I hit my head really hard. I don't entirely know where we are right now. This place is a bit new and possibly disconnected from the drift is what we're hearing. Am I still coming through?
You're here. You're home, my boy. You're here with me, right now. When did you crash? You've never been off. Have you been off planet before?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. What must have been going through my head just now? How strange.
What you're saying? That couldn't be. You, Hans. How are your studies going? You just reached. And before you can even begin to respond, you find yourself in the Church of Triune. The blanket had fallen from you to the ground 30 feet below. You must have floated up during this dream, this vision. All
What the heck?
is dark.
Everyone in the church is
quiet.
just staring at you floating in the middle of the bedroom.
What just happened?
Like
And no
poltergeist
one
style.
had stirred from their slumbers.
Oh. Oh my gosh, Adam, whenever you throw stuff like that, it's like, what is happening?
No, I could watch Adam screw with Cooper all day. That's
Oh.
amazing. Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Now, back in the present, Scriff and NR5E preparing for their next step of the journey. Uzi Paswoon, the space goblin, grinning from ear to ear with pride while spinning around the wicked-looking weapon that had been gifted back to him. So, that experience is something that you had, Pawns, and it's up to you what you do with it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think Pons is gonna take a moment and maybe talk about it with Scriffer 5e later, because he wants to piece together what that experience means, and then also kind of just lift himself up from the sadness of feeling Nerian decay further.
Okay.
So yeah, if it's morning, Scriff will get up, feeling a little bit better, and see what breakfast is available here. Do we have some bacon and eggs?
Good morning, sir. I've taken the liberty of cobbling together a protein scramble. It's not exactly your customary bacon and eggs, but it will definitely get some pep in your step and ensure that you've got proper calories and nutritions for getting through the day. I was unsure as to whether or not this would be suitable for Master Ponz's, Ponz's nutrient needs.
Oh man, I have a wicked headache. What are those?
It's a protein shake, I think.
Oh.
It'd be more accurate to say that it's a protein scramble. Reprocessed bits from...
Oh, it's still chunky.
Yes, that's one of its main features. I'm told it's quite appetizing to an organic palate.
You see,
I wouldn't know myself, though.
Pons is like kind of shaking a little bit and is like kind of pulls it up underneath his brain and then shivers for a second. As well, it doesn't taste as bad as you'd expect, but the texture is quite something.
Well, thank you for the compliment, sir.
I'm gonna take a bite. What does this thing taste like?
It's probably like the equivalent of the powdered space eggs, or when you go to the store and you can get
yummy.
the astronaut food or the
Nutritious.
dehydrated camp food. It's going to be along those lines. Maybe something that's a little bit more earthy, maybe a slight hint of decay from where it's, something that is a little bit off that has been reprocessed. You probably don't want to think too hard about the protein sources that were used to cobble this together.
Probably not. I mean, the leafy greens in it, pretty fresh. Aside from that,
This is like straight out of a field ration, essentially.
Mostly, yes.
Probably with some gatherings from the local foraging.
Is the flora here edible? As I eat it.
Oh, quite indeed, sir. As a matter of fact, there's a species of algae which has a remarkable semblance in the texture and flavor of bacon. Although it does occasionally give a slight aftertaste for people with certain genetic markers.
I see. Do any of us have those genetic markers? Continues eating.
Well, there's only one way to find out, if you take my meaning, sir. How does it taste to you?
Oh, it tastes almost like bacon, I guess. It's maybe a little salty.
Excellent. Then I've met my expectations with this culinary experiment. I shall record it in my data logs for further use.
Pons, you absolutely taste like black or licorice at the end.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, I've never really had anything like it. Very herbal. Never had bacon before, so this is.
Make sure
Maybe
you
it
eat all of
does.
that. We need to make sure we keep our strength, and we don't know the next time that we will be able to rest. Speaking of which, we need a plan if we are going to go after this Goragatal.
Do we have any modes of transportation other than just our own legs?
I'll look to Victor for the answer to that question.
Yeah, he's over at the campfire, and he kind of hears the conversation change away from food to what you guys are gonna do next. He stands up and walks over to join the group. I've spoken to Uzi at some length about how best to bring you to the compound of the Guragatal. The vehicles they use make it easier for them to get around the fauna and other pitfalls. Since we don't have that luxury, you're probably going to have to use the sewer system.
No.
Oh, goody.
Do the Guragatal ever send out patrols of smaller numbers, say 2 to 3 men on vehicles? Perhaps we could lure them out, hijack a craft, get there quicker.
On occasion, I have heard vehicles go by. They have even once come here, and yes, it was of smaller numbers. It would be fortunate if you were to come across one.
If we could identify the parameters that would bring them out of their camp, we might be able to set a trap for them.
Would it be
Do
best?
they come out for food or to scavenge?
They came here to see if I would give them medical aid if, say, they had injuries. However, their incentives and motives do not align with Triune, so I did not feel it was best to help them. So I
So
sent
they
them
know
away.
that you are here.
They do indeed.
So
Go ahead, Pawns. Forgive me for interrupting you.
I'd prefer to not have conflict if we can avoid it. Unless you think we could really surprise them from the sewers and escape with one of their vehicles without having to
Well-
engage in another combat.
I don't believe the sewers will take you directly to their compound, but it will move you through much of the overgrowth deeper in the city. The upgraded Saint, may his code now contribute to the underlying binary of the universe, had to return from their compound once on his own and traversed the sewer systems himself. He hesitated to go into detail, but I gathered that it was to be used in more dire circumstances. I feel all of you may be in such a time now.
I'd definitely say we're in a dire situation, or at least our captain is likely in a dire situation.
It does sound that way.
Yes, I'm sorry. I wish we could have gone sooner, you two. But I would not have been of any help. I hope that your decision to wait for me does not mean that we won't be able to save Captain Espa in time.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Indeed.
It's through the sewers, then.
If you both believe that entering the base through the sewers is the optimal approach, I see no reason to dissent. I'll recalibrate my environmental protections to ensure that my circuitry isn't damaged by foreign particles.
Victor, question. How far away is the Gorgatal home base?
Well, depending on how
As the crow flies.
well you're unable to fly, you're likely going to have to use the sewer system, so
I understand that, but how if we could go straight there? How far is it?
maybe a day.
Oh, it's that far. Okay. That's a long time in the sewers.
Well, as I said, it won't take you directly to their compound, but it will bring you closer.
Oh, wait. Well, there goes my plan. Sewers it is then.
I'm still very curious, Richard, what you were possibly getting at there. Out
Which
of
one?
character, of course. Sorry, Jeff.
Ah,
Sorry.
I just forget
Oh.
who's who. There's too many names to remember.
Are you suffering from the same problems as your cloner pawns? Having some memory loss?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe that's just me, Cooper. Getting
No,
people's-
it's nothing. I was just thinking, if it was not that far, then, I could just build a trebuchet and, some hang gliders and launch us there. It's fine. It was a crazy idea.
That sounds
Probably wouldn't have
amazing.
worked.
Okay, future IC.
Next time, when we get within trebuchet distance, this
Mhm.
is how we can infiltrate their base.
Yeah, I want you to spend just like several days right in front of their base construction trebuchet.
Adam, if there wasn't a wall previously, there's a wall now because we're doing the trebuchet bit.
Yeah.
It's happening.
You're just gonna
Interesting.
How far can you launch a contemplative?
They're
He
very
can fly,
cannonball
that's
shaped.
true.
I'll just be like,
Uh-huh.
"Whee."
Yeah, you unlike us, you could course correct,
Mm.
Yeah.
sort of.
How much weight can pawns carry?
I don't think
No,
two
well,
other
not
enough.
creatures were.
Definitely not
3 if
enough.
you count Uzi.
Yeah.
Uzi. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are going to be pulling an Obi-Wan Kenobi hanging from pawns like he does with the robot in episode 2. That's not going to happen.
Probably not.
Probably ripped one of my limbs right off.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, then I guess we're going the stinky route.
Yeah. I was hoping to avoid it as well. So.
On the plus side, it's not like their sewer system has been used in a while, so it might actually
Huh.
very good point.
Those are some
okay.
good thoughts.
I
Maybe.
love your
Great.
optimism.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe. I don't know.
There's no sewer rats that are mutant or anything like that.
Hey, those
Probably
rats
not.
have names.
To be on the safe side, what you might want to do is let your sentient robot companion go first,
Mm. Mhm.
just in case there are any pockets of gas or harmful bacteria.
I've got
or-
environmental controls on my suit.
Gas in a sewer? What? Okay.
That's true. I always forget that the suits in this game protect us from
Yeah,
from all
they're
sorts
Yeah,
of
pretty
they're very
awesome.
cool.
They have limited duration, of course, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's based on the level of the suit. Mine is level 1, so I have 1 day of protections, but
Yeah, it
1
might
day is 1
protect
day.
you from hazards, but does it protect you from smells?
it's a good question.
I don't know.
We may have to
Right.
find out.
I mean, it can protect you from toxic fumes and stuff, so I would think so.
Where's
We'll find out.
the entrance to this sewer? Is it like a grate, or do we just like walk into a giant hole in the ground?
My understanding is there is a grate. They had a sewer system laid out through the city. The entrance that the upgraded saint told me about was one such.
Do you have schematics for the sewer system? Something that would allow us to navigate them more easily?
No, I don't. As I said, I've not been there myself, and
Hmm.
my predecessor was not one to make maps.
Those parameters are suboptimal for our needs. We will see if we can map our route and return that data to you so that you can pass it on.
Do we
That
have
would
a
be
compass?
very helpful.
We have an Uzi. I don't know.
You do have an Uzi.
I don't have a compass now.
Different kind of Uzi.
Your 5E's just like, I am a compass.
I'm
Right?
ready.
All right. Okay. I say we send Uzi down first, but I think 5E's ready to go too. So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Um,
Let's search for it.
5E,
Yeah,
can
let's go.
can I talk to you for a moment before you go?
Of course, Victor. If you'll excuse me, gentlemen.
And he kind of steps away from the group a little bit. He pulls back his sleeve and removes a small leather bracelet. I have something I'd like you to take with you. I think it might help you as it has me. It's a simple leather wrapping, and dangling from it is a small charm of 3 interlocking rings. It seems to be carved out of rock. It's the symbol of the Church of Triune. I received this in my hour of need, and you may find use for it in yours.
5E's neck servos
quirk his head slightly to one side in a approximation of humanoid quizzicalness. It's occurring to him that he has no need for ornamentation, but he senses that it's an important symbolic gesture that this organic being is giving him this, and so he reaches out and takes the bracelet and says, "Thank you for the gift, Victor. It's very thoughtful. I shall wear it proudly." And he attaches it to his right wrist above one of his ammo clips.
He nods. You are a rarity in this place. Not only as a functional SRO, but as one who seeks the deeper knowledge of the universe. I hope you never relinquish your quest.
I have no intention of giving up. I do have one question, Victor. Why would the Garugatal be interested in me?
As you may have seen coming here, technology is not what it once was. Those such as yourselves are very rarely seen, particularly in a working condition.
I see. So their intent would be to reverse engineer and or repurpose my hardware. Those parameters are suboptimal and unacceptable.
I do hope that you refuse to accept them. Yes, it would be very unfortunate if they were to repurpose you, as you say.
Most unfortunate. He snaps a clip into his gun almost reflexively.
Uzi looks up from cleaning his teeth with the dog slicer. Oh, pretty boy, priest talk for days. We go now?
Yeah, we're looking for the Grate. Do you know the way there, Uzi?
Uzi can find anything.
Excellent.
That's just great.
Jeez.
That the joke goes completely over Uzi's head.
Well, it's because he's short.
Stop.
Ouch.
Oh,
Sick burn.
goodness.
All right. 5e turns to Uzi, walking away from Victor, and says, "I am prepared to depart."
All right, let's get to these sewers.
All right, he gives a big smile and starts walking out the big double doors. All right, so having helped scavenge through this area, 5e, you have a general idea of the surroundings of the church. With this knowledge and Uzi's guidance, you all managed to avoid the dangers of the immediate area. So that roll you did earlier helped you out.
Excellent.
Well done.
A few hours of cautious walking brings the crew to an overfilled aqueduct. High-rise buildings line both sides of the constructed river, tall grass and reeds swarming their foundations. Moss and massive lily pads cover the slowly flowing stream. Over there is where pretty boy speaked of. He shudders. Tolly's never mentioned that. Downstream, the top of the sewer grate can be seen through the moss. Sitting on top of the concrete overpass is a twisting, gnarled growth. It stretches at least 2 stories high, with 6 open pods hanging over the water. The pods themselves are collared with a stunningly blue, bioluminescent ring of petals, and a spiral into a wicked magenta point. On the other side of the stream is a small, leaf-covered animal that's carefully moving towards the water's edge. It reaches out a gentle paw and begins to clean itself. The moment the paw pulls back from the water, the massive plant strikes with lightning speed and precision. The little creature appears to be stunned as it falls headlong into the water, and a second strike from the towering plant splashes into the water, and the creature is gone.
Uh-oh.
The plant once again returns to its docile composure. And Uzi gulps.
Okay.
5e turns to look at the rest of you and says, "Parameters are suboptimal."
Don't go in the water.
Yeah.
He
How are we gonna get to that grate?
he says the bars underwater are bent open. Uzi not great swimmer, but he could make it if big bad plant not eat him.
Okay.
Tolly robot, can you swim or you rust? Fuzzy probably maybe can. Can floaty brain swim?
I should have no difficulty traversing the currents.
My armor is a little heavy. I might have some trouble, but I can hold my own.
Is there any swimming rules that I should know about in this that would prevent
if you
me?
don't have a swim speed, it's an
Mhm.
athletics roll.
Oh, well, I don't remember seeing a swimming speed on my character sheet.
Yeah.
No reason why you would.
That would make
The little
sense.
tiny legs, little tiny arms.
I almost imagine the brain would just keep him afloat like a little bobber.
He is his own life vest.
So first things first, I want to test the waters. Quite literally. I want to grab a rock or something and throw it into the water.
All right, how far or how close do you want to throw it towards this plant?
I don't want to be anywhere near this thing when it hits the water.
Yeah, but are you going to throw the rock as close as you can to the plant, or are you going to throw it a little further away? Like, where are you throwing this rock?
Oh, how far was the animal when it got grabbed?
It was probably 15 feet or so.
Okay. I'm gonna throw it as close to the grate as I can.
Okay. So you pick up a nearby stone, throw it down towards the water in front of the grate, and as it splashes, one of the pods immediately goes right for that spot. Splashes in, comes back up, doesn't seem to be holding the rock or anything, but then just relaxes again.
How long does it take for it, after it strikes, to go back to a neutral position?
That's a good question. Takes about 6 seconds or so, probably.
Oh, like one turn.
Is it?
Imagine,
But there's multiple
imagine
pods.
that. There are.
Correct.
There's
Yeah.
6, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
2
then
for each of us. Great.
they were possibly based off of sound or movement. Now I
think
guess
it's
is what we need to
touching the
figure out.
water.
I think it is. Okay.
I think it's when it touches the water.
So it has some sort of capability of feeling anything hitting. That's like the
Yeah.
worst case scenario. So
Uh-huh.
Did we see
Ah.
how far down the thing reached? Like, was it just like barely scratching the surface, or did it like really dig down into the water?
It seems like it goes a fair distance. It doesn't just like touch the surface and stop. It seems like it heads at least enough to get the front of its pod into the water.
yeah, can I toss another rock? But I want to get this one to the shore that's next to the water. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I want to see if it. Okay, so same thing. Toss a rock.
All right. As it hits the shore on the other side, the rock bounces a couple times, and the plant does not move.
Okay.
One more test. Ponce, take your telekinesis take this rock with your telekinesis and just set it in the water. No splash. See if it reacts.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see how far it can reach. I don't want to get too close, and I'll stretch out the hand as far as it goes, which I believe is 35 feet. 30 feet. And just gently lower it into the water.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth roll. You're trying to do it as gently as you can.
course. 7 would be my stealth roll for pawns. It's not great.
So you reach out with your mind. It takes shape into the form of a hand which grasps the stone. The hand gently moves over and goes to set the stone down on the water. And the moment it touches, plant comes down, grabs the stone.
It's very sensitive then.
Perhaps we could throw a bunch of things in and then try to dive in immediately after.
If it doesn't work, we're going to be shooting a plant.
We have also not yet ascertained the depth of the river. It's possible that one of us could swim to the bottom and navigate to the Grate without being detected.
That's a possibility too. We could also just try to shoot them from here, though I don't know how long that would take, and also the noise might cause a problem.
If we shoot, it'd probably attract everything in the area.
Yeah.
More's the pity. I could use the target practice.
Do we have a way to burn it, maybe?
I still don't have any flame capabilities. I'd say whoever the best swimmer of us is should maybe test the waters further down and see how deep it is.
That's probably not me.
Yeah, not me either.
Not Uzi.
Well, process of elimination. 5e.
Would you like to test the waters for us?
Certainly. Would you like me to swim down to the riverbed and approach?
Carefully.
Very well. 5e steps to the riverside, and you hear his exoskeletal shell somewhat snap, and almost as if it's sealing up, and he looks back at you and says, "I was designed to act as a caretaker for children. Being waterproof is a requisite." And with that, he dives in, sinks to the bottom, and begins to slowly swim toward the Grate, keeping an eye up at the surface for what might be breaking through.
Alright, that was a
Alright.
lot more gung-ho than I was expecting. Okay.
Go ahead and give me athletics for that swim.
Yather. Not bad, not great. It's a 12.
All right. And everybody else who's standing on the shore, go ahead and give me perception.
This is fine.
Hans has a 27.
Script got a 12.
Hans, you definitely notice this. Like Scriff, you get the right idea, but as 5e jumps into this body of water, the pods, all of them turn and look right at that direction, but they don't strike the water. They just seem to be
far out.
sitting and waiting.
So maybe they respond to sonic stimuli?
Okay. So, could I go kind of away from the pods and try to lower myself down as well then?
Absolutely.
Alright.
Please
Let's go for this.
come on in.
I don't know
I
how...
don't like this at
The
all.
water
like it
is
either, but-
fine.
I don't like this at all.
Alright, that's an athletics check you said?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that's obviously my best. There we go. There we go. Oh, the 2! That was a 2!
Oh no!
It was nice knowing you, Pawns.
So Uzi and Scriff are still standing on the shore, and Uzi just kind of looks over at Scriff like, "Is this plan? Are we just jumping in and swimming at plant?"
Wow.
No. I don't. Pawns, be careful.
What
All
happened,
right.
Adam?
Well, if we're swimming, I guess we're swimming. So,
I'm not going in yet. I want to know what happens to Pawns. I might have to save him.
Good luck!
Does he start floating downstream?
5e is kind of at the bottom of this aqueduct, swimming towards the opening of the grate, and 5e underwater, you see that the grate itself, the bars are bent, but roots have grown over the opening. Pons absolutely looks like a toy that's been thrown into the water, and he's just floating aimlessly and gently down the stream. He's like flailing his little arms and legs.
Is he
Away
at the
or towards the
surface?
plant?
He is gently floating towards it, bobbing.
Oh, so this aqueduct leads into the grate.
It does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, guys, I don't swim
Pons,
well. This is
don't
bad.
move. Just
I'm
float.
Just don't do anything.
No, stop splashing.
All right.
The
You'll
plant
attract it.
seems very interested as Pons.
How far away is Pons from 5e?
He jumped in fairly quick after, so say 10 feet or so.
All right. Could I attempt another athletics check to grab him and pull him down to the bottom with me before he gets too close to those pods?
Go ahead.
All right.
Save
That
me.
is a 23.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, so you
Maybe I won't die today.
5e swims over, reaches up, grabs basically the entire body of Pons, pulls him down, and from the shore, Scriff and Uzi just see Pons disappear into the water.
No, Pons.
I think he's dead.
I'm going in after him.
Wait. Let me
Under the
let me
surface as
activate.
well.
Let me activate my comm link as I'm swimming back down and tell Scriff it's all right. I've got him.
He's
Oh,
dead.
no, it's okay, Uzi.
Uh,
Yeah, it does
It's
occur
okay.
to the
We don't
robot
care.
that that looks
It
bad.
was just 5e.
okay. 5e
All right.
still alive. Big Tolly's okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Back underwater, I will look at Pons and say, do you have anything that could possibly cut through or remove those plant tendrils? They seem to be blocking our path forward.
The plants are just waiting.
Can I breathe? I can't breathe, right?
With your
Environmental
environmental
protections?
protection,
If you
can
turn
breathe.
them on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can breathe them. That's great. To cut them, I mean, I have a laser bat. Or I have a,
You
I
have
have
a
a
laser?
pistol. No, I have a pistol.
Oh.
That's not gonna work. Flame thrust. I could shoot something at it though.
Well, so could I. I was hoping you had a more delicate solution.
Nope. Definitely not in my repertoire. Nope.
Do you mean shoot something with your mind?
I do mean to shoot something with my mind. I was
I
thinking if I
see.
could telekinetic projectile it, maybe.
Interesting.
I've heard worse ideas.
Is there anything around here that is remotely flammable or explosive?
Unfortunately, there's no red barrels that have an explosive symbol on it or anything
What
near
kind of
the-
video game is this?
Dang it! That's how we defeat the
all
boss.
of the
Does
area.
he have any glowy points?
Yes,
I mean,
actually,
the flowers,
his
flower
flowers are
pods are a
glowy.
little glowy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but because
That attack
this
the weak
is
points.
so close to basically overflowing aqueduct, all the plant life looks very healthy. So not much flammable, dry things nearby.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to shoot this thing with my mind then.
Okay. Go ahead, give me a roll.
To hit was a 17.
Is
And
this,
what's your damage?
What attack
2.
is this?
Telekinetic projectile. It is a cantrip or a level 0 spell.
So you're not hitting it with your mind, you're hitting it with an object.
You fling. Oh, okay. Actually, I thought it was more like the other spell,
Oh.
but you're correct.
Yeah, it's like the forest. You pick up something and fling it.
Yeah,
I
grab a
needed
rock
to
from the
know that
bottom
it
there.
was a mental action rather than a gun because
Mhm.
most of them do not work underwater.
Correct. Yeah, no. It was
There's penalties, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll grab a rock from the bottom of the water here and throw it at the vines. It was 2 damage.
2 damage. Okay, so you
Mhm.
pick up the rock, fling it with the power of your mind, you projectile it through the water and it hits one of the vines and snaps it in half. There's still quite a few there.
Well, this is gonna be a long time. Hey, Scriff, you have anything we could cut some vines with? This grate is overrun by them. Or some roots.
I have my claws.
Can't
Uzi's
really
picking
toss
his
those in the
teeth
water.
with his
He's got
dog
yeah,
slicer
Uzi,
again.
Uzi has the dog slicer.
Well, throw him in the water.
Uzi
they
can't
need
hear
you in
this,
the
but
water.
his ears perk up for some reason.
Uzi, they need you in the water.
It might be more optimal to simply send the
Here,
dog
let me fix that
slicer
little crack
down
on
to
your
us.
helmet so you can breathe. I'll just pat down some mud or something on it to
Yeah, his
seal that
helmet is,
hole.
got several cracks in it, and water absolutely will pour in immediately.
What's the Starfinder duct tape?
Ion tape.
Yeah,
I want some. I don't have it yet.
that stuff's awesome. Okay, so you kind of do some makeshift patchwork on it. Go ahead and give me an engineering check.
Cool. 25.
25. All right, you managed to take some straps from his uniform and put it over there and
Hold
bind it
still.
on. So you managed to get his helmet more or less water, probably resistant, not proof.
That should buy you a couple of minutes underwater at least.
This probably
Optimistically.
nicest helmet I ever seen in Space Goblin Clan.
He can only see like
Oh.
halfway through it now because it's got all these opaque patches on it.
I actually feel kind of sad for him.
All right, why is Uzi needed underwater?
They need your dog slicer, your cutting skill to cut the vines.
Well, Uzi lived pretty good life.
I will cover you from up here.
He
I'll
kind of
pull
just
out my
slowly and
pistol.
a little sadly walks into the water.
I believe in you, Uzi. You can do it.
So he wades into
Oh
the
my gosh.
water, and I just rolled an athletics check for Uzi with a nat 20.
Yes.
Yeah, because Uzi's a G.
He swims down into the water and swims up to 5e and Pawns. And he holds up his dog slicer like, what do you
and
need?
I gesture him with my head, kind of pointing him and then pointing at the vines and then pointing at him again.
Can't you mind talk
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, I can.
You can
Just
mind talk.
Choose not to. I don't want to be in that mind. I don't know where it's been.
See if you get
The
the idea
depths of
first.
that, I may never return. Okay, he looks at it, holds up the dog slicer in the water, he obviously gets that you want him to slice the things, but you can tell just right away he's very hesitant to move towards the plants that are killing everything in sight.
Can't imagine why.
I'm gonna start collecting a pile of rocks.
Okay.
I'm gonna just get a big old pile of rocks.
Okay, yeah. Absolutely.
And
There's
then I'm
tons
gonna-
of pieces of debris all over the place.
And I'll once I've gathered, I don't know, 100 or so, I'm gonna say, let me know when he goes in, and I will create a distraction.
Yeah, as you're collecting these rocks, the one leak in Uzi's helmet is just springing and hitting him in the face the whole time.
Oh.
All right, yeah, I'll use my telepathy here and see if I can't convince him to come closer, and I'll say, the longer we take, the more dangerous this becomes. If you're already down here, come help, please.
He definitely takes a second of, oh, why is there a voice in my head? And then looks at the brain. And
Oh.
you can actually hear him voice all that a little bit through the water.
You want me to roll a persuasion check?
Yeah, try to persuade him as best you can.
Yes. Let's see here.
It'd be probably diplomacy.
Oh, yeah. That's a different one. Okay. You know, that's a natural 1 plus 3. 4 total.
All right, so 5e, you can see that they're kind of communicating, and Uzi looks really hesitant, and he does not seem to want to move closer. He's like offering up the dog slicer for someone else to go do it, but is not convinced to do it himself.
I will take the dog slicer from the goblin and swim up and start cutting the vines.
And as you do that, I just had another idea. So I was going to throw rocks into the pond or into the aqueduct and get it to just attack that instead. What I'm going to do instead is I call up Cat on my datapad. Cat, what is your maximum volume level?
I can go to several decibels above ear-shattering if need be.
Oh, God.
Excellent.
All right.
I'm further back from everyone, or far enough back that we haven't seen the plant attack at that distance. I'm going to wade into the water and stick my arm pad underneath the water, and I say, maximum volume, white noise.
Oh, man.
Very interesting.
Can I just...
Yeah, the goal is to just create as much disruption under the water to mask everyone else going up the aqueduct.
So many of my teammates' decisions make me happy that I'm not playing an organic being.
All right.
It'll be a little
As-
muffled underwater.
It would absolutely be a little muffled. As 5e moves forward, you absolutely detect the decibels of sound moving through the water. The volume is so loud, I'm going to have Scriff, Pawns, and Uzi all make a fortitude save against this.
Scriff got a 14.
The 4. Oh, man. Hans is not doing well with his rolls right now.
Okay. So everyone who failed will take 4 sonic damage. And another crack forms in Uzi's helmet.
Who failed?
I did. Definitely.
Definitely
What was the DC?
Pawns. What was Scriff's roll again?
I got a 14.
14, you pass.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and take that then from Hans.
All right. And Scriff, since you're the only one above water, go ahead, give me a perception check.
Okie dokie. I got a 24.
Nicely done. And
I
in
think
good
that's
timing.
my best perception roll
I
ever.
think it is.
That was good, yeah.
Natural
The
19.
plants seem to be very confused. All 6 of the pods are moving around. Some of them are moving close to the water, some of them are hitting, but they seem to be freaking out from this noise.
Nice. That's pretty cool. You gotta dive in after us. Come on. Come on, Scriff.
Well, I'm most likely the one to be attacked if I get close. So you all go first, and then we'll get me through.
All right, how's Uzi?
'Cause I'm producing the noise.
How's,
5e's the one up ahead. You kept moving, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Going straight for that grate, gonna try to cut all those tendrils off so we can get through and get past this thing.
Okay. As you move in, go ahead, give me an attack roll. As I roll something as well.
All right, an attack roll of 11. Hopefully that is good enough to attack a stationary vine.
Absolutely. You get your feet planted on the vines and just start hacking away at these things. And as you do, you start making a lot of motion in the ocean, as it were, and one of the pods comes straight at you. What's your armor class, real quick?
Kinetic, I assume.
Indeed.
14.
These are energy plants. They shoot
14.
lasers.
Okay, so here is the all-important part, and this comes from Scriff's clever idea. They have a 50% miss chance on you,
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
and you're gonna need it, because That's a 17.
Oh, sad face.
So I'd like to have you roll the D100 on this.
All right. Oh, yes. 73.
Yes.
73.
No love for that guy.
All right. So you see a giant pod come in right next to you as you're hacking away at this thing. It's inches from your face as it pulls back up. Now, as you hack away at these vines, you feel the water starting to pull more, as if it was blocked by these vines. You keep hacking, and after a while, it's getting to the point where you can barely hold on to the spot you're at. You can choose either to try to maintain your position, or you can roll with the current.
I'm going to try to maintain, but also fire off a comm link message and say, the speed of the current is increasing. We can't hold this position for much longer. I believe we're being pulled in. Athletics to hold my ground?
Absolutely. And Hans, you feel the water start to move as well. Scriff, even though you're not completely in it, you feel it moving around your waist.
I just imagine Pond's like a literal weed thrown into a river, and it's just like.
Yeah, you're already moving.
Yeah. Hopefully a 15's good enough on athletics to keep the group together.
All right, so as you're starting to get pulled in, you re-grip on one of the bars of the grating and manage to hold your position. You see Pawns floating towards you. You hear him screaming quietly over the radio.
Screaming quietly over the radio.
It's like muffled, and it's like.
Uzi sees that this is happening and starts swimming towards Pawns. Griff, what do you do?
Grab it.
As soon as I get the all clear from Pawns and Uzi, I will head downstream.
All right. You're hanging onto the bar 5e. Pawns and Uzi come floating right at you. Do you grab him or you let him go?
I'm probably going to let them go because our objective is to go into the sewers, and this is the way in.
Okay.
So it's less. I'm less worried about them going in and more worried about them being unprotected as they pass through.
Gotcha.
If the pods are going to hit something, I would prefer it to be me.
Okay.
Okay, do you guys say anything to Scriff or you just keep moving?
Just screaming. That's it.
Are you true? Are you?
Yeah. What happens to us there, Adam?
As you float right up to 5e, one of the pedals comes in, hits right in front of you, Pawns, and does an 8 hit your armor.
Yeah.
You know, it barely doesn't hit my armor, so.
It just like hits your brain, but you just go under the water, do a little flip, and keep moving.
Little rubber ducky sound as
bounce.
it hits.
Yep.
And you and Uzi whoosh go by 5e and continue down into the sewers. Outside, Scriff, the screaming is still happening. Nothing has changed as far as that goes.
Are they clear? Are you clear?
Affirmative.
All right, I'm going in.
I think that'd be a good idea.
I wade in.
Okay, go ahead, give me athletics as you go to swim down this river. It's already flowing in the right direction, so probably won't be too hard, right?
19.
19. It's very solid. All right, you manage to keep your balance and your equilibrium as this stream's pulling you along. You see 5e up ahead, right at the grate.
I'm gonna change my command to cat as I'm floating downstream as well.
Okay.
Instead of white noise, I want cat to start making like an oscillating, like a sine wave sound. So it's
Okay.
gets louder and then a little quieter.
That's very interesting.
Modulate the frequency. And other sciencey sounding things.
So it throws in some like beep boop boop noise in there too.
Doing science.
Do some science.
Doing science, Scriff. Or you float towards this thing, and it's gonna take a shot at you as well. Again, it's gonna have that high miss chance. But this one's gonna be even more important because that's another nat 20. I'm rolling hot today.
Okay.
No.
So you're gonna have to roll that 100 to see
So-
if this nat 20 connects or not.
So we want above a 50 to save from it?
Yes.
Okay.
You want above
I
a
think I misunderstood
50.
that earlier.
Below is bad.
I got an 85.
Yeah.
Woo, baby. Okay, so it comes in, and this wicked point on the front of the pod comes in, hits you in the armor, and you do, like pawns, a little flip under the water and spin off as you go past 5e. A little sickening, but you make it through 5e. You're on the inside of these roots hanging on. Everyone else has gone past you. Do you just let go?
No, just let go and allow the current to carry me in.
Okay. The water rushes down this underground corridor. It banks left, it banks right, goes down a little bit. And then you see ahead of you, the water drops like a waterfall.
Oh.
Now I'm going to need everyone to give me a fortitude save.
Alrighty.
Because
Oh.
we go over the waterfall.
Because you go over
Or-
the waterfall.
So we're definitely hitting the ground here, or do you want us? All right. Or do you want us to? Can I? No, I don't really see any other
I
options.
mean,
You're right.
you could, you pawns could potentially,
probably
if you
fly.
can figure out a good way to get out of rushing water. Like, I don't know how strong your
Could I
ability
do a
to fly is.
reflex, or I guess fortitude is the strength side of it, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's,
Go ahead,
not that
but if
strong.
you succeed, then you could potentially get yourself out of the water.
okay. Okay. Cool.
Well, my fortitude save result is an 8.
8. Okay.
Goodness. As a 2.
Scriff,
As a 2.
pawns? It's a
For
2.
pawns. Mhm.
Pawns. How about Scriff?
Join us in the single digits club over here.
Fortitude, right?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
That's a 21.
Ooh,
Oh,
right.
boo.
Woo-wee. Scriff's rolling hot now.
Got those fortitude saves. I'm feeling buff now. Feeling all healthy.
All three of you go over this waterfall. You then, as you're falling here, Uzi, hit the water as well. Boom, you splash into the water. And the people who resurface are Pawns, Scriff, and Uzi.
Where's 5e? 5e. Comms. Pull up the comms. 5e. Can you hear me? Are you all right?
Static.
I don't know.
I'll like duck my giant brain down into the water like a bird and see if I can't see him down below.
You see 5e on the ground, laying there like a rock.
Oh no. Okay. I'll come back up for a second. Oh no, he's under there. He's not moving.
I'm going in. I'll dive back down for
Okay.
him.
Uzi sees this happening and goes under as well. So go ahead, give me athletics if you want to grab 5e, and Uzi is going to assist you. Uzi assists.
Okay, so with the assist, I got a 20.
Nice. Very good. Scriff, you and Uzi swim down, the smallest members of the crew. each of you hook an arm around 5e, start swimming, and bring him over to the concrete walkway nearby. Manage to pull him out. As you guys pull out the seemingly unconscious 5e, Scriff, you begin to radiate a noise.
It's the radiation badge. I look around for it and I pull it out and check the readings.
You can see that it is indeed moving. It has begun to detect radiation in your area.
If I move it around, can I tell what direction it's coming from?
It seems to be coming from deeper in the sewers, which you'll have to venture into next chapter.
Every time! Every
I had a
time!
feeling
Thank
that
you
was
very
coming.
much for
Yeah.
listening. That was a whole lot of fun. Some really clever ideas there.
was
Good
great.
job, guys.
When life drains you down, charge up on the Emergency Power Network. Theme song Triangles by Diamond Ace. Find them at bandcamp.com. Music provided by Nicholas Judy of Dark Fantasy Studio at darkfantasystudio.com and Tabletop Audio. Find them at tabletopaudio.com. Font Azonics by Mixo. Find them on Twitter at MixoFX. The Starfinder role-playing game, including its official lore and images, are the intellectual property of Paizo Incorporated. All rights reserved. Narrated by Danny Lee Collins.